Everybody go and get your tinfoil cap. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back. It goes gas mask, gas mask, gas mask, gas. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back.
Yo, it's time to get politic with the whiz kid. Folks who stay holistic, mostly full of shit. But let's be heuristic, victims of the grift. And me, I'm not a hero, but you know the shoe fits. Everybody go and get your tinfoil cap. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back. It goes gas mask, gas mask, gas mask, gas. Hazmat suits for the losers in the back.
Oh, welcome back, Vaulties and Raiders and Wastelanders in general, to another episode of the Council of the Waste podcast for what is essentially the season finale of the Fallout series. And as a sidebar, if you're wondering where the hell we've been, we did a recording last week with all these lovely faces, and we had a great time, and we signed off. And the next morning, I went to pull up that recording on a cloud server, and it was not found for the second time in 4 weeks. And to this day, it is still missing. So we will backpedal if need be over something from episode 7. We will predominantly be covering the finale. I apologize. I'm in the process of canceling the other software and telling them off is the direction they can fuck. And we will be using something better from now on. And there will be more content after that. Now that that is out of the way, on to the introductions. As always, it's the man spouting all the jargon at you and his lovely wife, known as the notorious F-A-M. Yeah! And we are joined by the man that inspired me to game stream. You can catch him on his YouTube channel Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, streaming Fallout 4 religiously. He is a series aficionado and an Enclave representative. So he ended the world for us. Is what I'm trying to say. It's the Gameplan 2077.
Good to be here.
Oh, you know what? I actually have it. So
Nice.
and above him is my Fallout 76 Yoda. He is
Yoda. Okay. I'll take it.
He is a wonderful human being who streams Fallout 76 and more on his channel. He's joined us on stream to do Fallout 76, and he is an essential member of this council. Everybody get your horns up for Ram.
You make me blush.
Yeah, I'm doing it for everybody. Doing it. And above me, of course, is my big bubbly brother. I mean, you can find him on YouTube Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, streaming all things Bethesda. You can actually find a stream on his 2 streams on his channel where he played Fallout 76 with myself and Ram and a bunch of people. We had a bunch of fun, and we killed like 3 dozen death claws in one spot. And Ram got a girlfriend out of it. So that was fun. Check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bubbleonia.
Hold on a second. I'm going to turn this dial in.
Wait, who am I?
You have a little smudge right there.
No.
Can I get that for
Come
you?
back to us.
No, Bubbles! Don't do it! Does anybody know how to override this fucking chip?
Someone's got it.
Can I pour iced tea on it? Will that short it out?
There
I
you
got
go.
plenty.
Pour some iced tea. That'll bring me back.
And of course, I always save the best for last. She is the chair of the Council of the Waste. She has the loveliest voice on YouTube and audio podcasting, in my opinion. And you can find
definitely not an AI.
Definitely not.
No, I saw the comments. She is not an AI. She's a real person. Trust me.
So
I know. You don't. I'm better than you. You know it. Anywho, put your hands together and flap your wings for Ravenswift.
Thank you. Thank you very
The
much.
verb with the words, yes.
Yeah, the game plan probably doesn't know what we're talking about. In my stream the other night, someone was like, Are you an AI?
No,
there's a lot of AI.
No.
I have gotten those questions too.
Really?
I actually can't blame people for asking.
Without the camera, is she AI?
Yeah, no, I didn't begrudge them at all. I just thought it was like really weird. And yeah, they're like, yeah, they said there's a lot of AI streamers doing New Vegas right now. And I was like, oh,
I had no idea.
Weird.
How do they do that?
My answer was,
what does that even mean though?
I don't know.
I thought it may have been like they were trying to say VTuber or something like that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I got out of it.
But she doesn't really have an avatar because she doesn't use a camera either.
When someone asked me if you were AI, I said no. I said, have you ever seen the movie Weird Science? I created her in a lab. And I put a GIF of like Kelly LeBrock under my response.
Old-fashioned AI, OG AI.
Right, that's emoji.
She's my creation.
All right, guys. Well, we are here tonight to talk about the saddest thing ever, which is the end of season 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Episode 8. What's it called? The Strip. It's called The Strip.
The Strip.
Yeah, too soon for sure. Even though they made us wait week to week, it still feels like it was too short, right? Like,
is it really over, guys? Because
emotional, damn it.
Well, yeah, this episode for sure, emotional damage for sure.
Oh yeah.
So as always, I'll just and I did it real relaxed this week. I took handwritten notes. So hopefully I can read my own handwriting. So every week I'll just talk about some of the scenes that we saw. And then we will run rampant with our opinions and thoughts. So the episode opens up with Caesar's Legion camp, and we see that I don't know his name. Macaulay Culkin's character. What's his name? Legate.
It's
what is it?
That's Lacerda. Yeah.
Okay. That guy.
I wanted to say Lacerda, and I know I was wrong. That's an old Dodgers manager. Yeah.
Anyway, so that guy names himself the next Caesar. And that was kind of predictable, I guess. But yeah, the measures he goes to, and then just really was like, whoa. Anyways, what do you guys think of all that? What do you think's going to happen next season with the Legion? They're going to.
I knew it was the note. I knew it just said, "I am the Legion." You know, when I saw the words "I am" sticking out of his pocket, I'm like, these guys are fighting over something that's not going to help anybody.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I knew that too. For sure.
Can we be honest? That scene is so Fallout in general because it's so dramatic and intense in 1 minute, and then you're and then cut to him saying we're going to create a Caesar's palace in Vegas, and you're on the floor laughing. We're going to create a palace, Kaisar's palace. As soon as I heard that, as heard my way, I busted out cackling. And at first, I'm like, oh, and then he says that, and those two scenes put together is so Fallout in general. Where you can see something so gruesome, and a few seconds later, you are laughing your ass off, and that's what I love about it. But I did love the note, like GP said, I am the Legion, it dies with me. And he goes as far as to kill another Legionnaire and then eat the goddamn note.
Yep.
The cake was definitely a lie. You know, they got the cake, and he's like, what now? You know, this can't just disappear, you know.
It was heavily telegraphed in the game too. That, there would be no Legion that could hold itself together following the death of Kaisar. I think, even everybody's fan favorite character, Joshua Graham, literally says there's no Caesar or no Legion without Caesar. Right. And I think he knew it too, but that calls into question just how warped that guy's brain was, that he put this whole thing together, 78 tribes, this and that and the other. And knowing he's a mortal man, he will die, and having no succession plan, no plan for them to do anything but scatter into the wasteland and be a menace, really, just is it just reinforces my initial distaste of that character.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that whole faction. It's like,
Mhm.
oh my god, these losers. Okay.
Yeah. Super selfish and yeah.
Just Raiders, but with goofy sports equipment.
It totally tracks for the Legion if you've played Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
It totally tracks.
That character
Well-
just dripped of. If you guys remember the general from the Postman,
Yes.
very very similar vibe between those two characters.
Very, very.
Mm. Yeah. And then after that, we cut right over to the Lucky 38 with the Ghoul and House, and they team up. Thought that was fun. I was like, yay, they get to be buddies.
Yeah.
Chums.
It was very nice of House to accept his help after Cooper basically gave cold fusion to the Enclave and ended the world.
Yeah.
Unknowingly gave it to
Yeah,
them.
House was pretty gracious about it.
He
Gave him a call,
unknowingly ended the
gave him a
world.
call.
Oh, that's okay.
I didn't do whatever happens next. Like he seemed very. It's like he cared a lot about what Cooper thought. Actually,
One way or another, Mr. Howard, everyone works for me.
Yeah. But
He
you're
had
right.
to put the emphasis on the H again. There wasn't even a W there, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, there does seem to be a like House does seem to admire the Ghoul.
There's a Nerdist article that came out today, and they interviewed Bobby Apartment, and they were talking about the House, Bobby Apartment, Cooper Howard, like interplay between those characters and what the actors were using for their motivation, their background when they were going into all of these scenes. And there's definitely an element of, he says, I don't do entertainment. I find it to be pointless or whatever. He's not telling the whole truth. I mean, his, one of his Securitron girlfriends in the game famously is a former Hollywood movie star who he was supposedly madly in love with. And when he finally got her to come out and visit, all he wanted was to scan her brain and put it in one of his Securitrons. And Raul will say, like, who the fuck does that? Like, you had a Hollywood starlet, like, standing next to your bedside table, and she was googly-eyed for you, and all you wanted to do was scan her brain. He in spite of his protestations, I think that he probably does have maybe not admiration, but almost like I fancy myself to be on your level, and you're this international celebrity, type thing. I think if he doesn't admire him, he in a way wants to emulate him a little bit, that same kind of swagger and bravado that the cowboy brings to the table.
If we do take House's Securitrons as an indication of what he admires, I mean, his Securitrons, like, look at Victor.
Yeah.
Look at the cowboy.
Yeah.
Kind of
runs through the
reminds you
waist,
of somebody,
doing, setting things right. He and Cooper's characters aren't that different.
Not that different.
And the other, there's the GI face too. The Mark IIs have the helmets and everything. Cooper was a soldier. He's modeled his creations after something that, things that Cooper was and is. So, yeah.
And obviously he said it, but obviously he said it, but he's basically been following Cooper since the day he saw the Death Claw in Anchorage.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some sort of bond there for, mutual reasons. Like, hey, how the hell did this happen? Maybe
House thinks so.
Well, definitely, I would think, because House exists inside of a fortress, and Cooper doesn't. And maybe House, even he's bound to his universe when Cooper can walk freely and experience fame in a much more unfiltered sense than he could. And maybe
honestly, we
fascination with that.
We see the real House in the real world, twice in this entire season and over the course of the entire series. So the man is practically a hermit. He's got body doubles running around for him, and he just kind of sits back in his lab with his funky little helmet and works on, trying to prevent, or protect himself from the end of the world, really. Not exactly
Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he feels like he has to do that and is therefore resentful of it, or do you think he prefers it that way?
It kind of feels like he prefers it that way. Would you see him, because he's not exactly, I mean, yes, he's a bit smug and he's a bit elitist.
I almost think like he doesn't care.
He's not exactly angsty over his position, you know. Kind of rebels in it.
It seems like because he is a brilliant person. He's a brilliant inventor and tinkerer, but he's stuck in this. He if he wanted to do more outside, which he did in episode 1, that he would find ways to do it. You know, like he would find a way to incorporate that into his universe. I bet. You know,
exactly.
Just not interested.
I don't think I think he's ambivalent about all that.
Yeah,
maybe people frighten him. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But he probably feels like he could do whatever he needed to do in whichever situation he found himself in. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, he feels like he's in control. He says the house always wins and all that. But I think that's where his fascination with Cooper lies. He explains that Cooper is some kind of an anomaly that throws some, like a random variable into all of his equations and messes with them. And I think he thinks of he and Cooper as foils, like these two beings who are destined to, have something to do with each other. And if you look at them, it's funny, but they're both 200 years old at this point. Like they both remember the pre-war. They've both gotten all the way here in slightly different ways, but ways that cost them both a lot, and sure, Cooper's doing it for very personal reasons, and House is not gonna ever do anything for personal reasons. He just maybe ego, but I think House sees them as two halves of the same whole, like two parts of a story that can't exist without the others, and he might have a point.
You complete me.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say on the other side of it, I think between this episode and the last episode, everyone on the screen outside of the game plan has to apologize to Barb in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because it turns out she really was trying to do the right thing and back her husband up, and it just didn't work out because they put Cold Fusion in the wrong hands. But she was trying. Whereas up until
Cooper told her, save yourself. That's why they got divorced, and the public perception was that they weren't together, is because he told her, disassociate from me.
Right.
Yeah.
I acted alone.
Janie.
I'll take the fall.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, take Janie.
For her, that sort of thing. Right. And it was just, by the time, even last episode, because obviously we had issues, but even last episode, I thought it, and then after seeing this one, I was like, man, I really feel bad for the way I dogged Barb. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I owe you an apology, Dom. I kept brushing off your whole they're enclave stuff, about Hank and Steph. Both of them. I was like, oh, let's not run to the enclave. They don't explain everything. And then here we get to the final episode.
Yeah.
It's literally definitely
They're definitely enclave.
Even last week, I don't know. I might have said it on the recording, but I know I said it to her, like, wouldn't it be wild if Hank and Stephanie were messing around pre-war, and then that's how they became, enclave and everything else.
I had
and
that
then
same theory.
Going into this, I looked at her and I said, could you imagine if somehow Hank and Stephanie were the ones that ended up having Lucy? And somehow, they just pawned it off, or if Stephanie's baby is actually Hank's.
I've seen that theory floating around, that Stephanie's baby is actually Hank's.
I have my doubts about that. They're both so committed to this thing, and Vault 31's supposed to breed with Vault 33 to make a new manager stock, and I think that's what they both did. But
Stephanie
but
was
it is weird.
unfrozen sooner.
But see that's what I wonder if Stephanie doesn't interact with the baby because when she looks at the baby she sees Hank.
Or she doesn't interact with the baby because it's not Hank's, and she doesn't care about the baby.
Yeah,
Just
Right.
breeding
It was
stock.
just there because the
I didn't think
genetic
about that,
pool
but you're right.
required it.
You're right.
It's
Yeah.
just breeding stock, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know that she has that much affection for Hank one way or the other, but we'll find out. They seem to, the actors seem
It
to
sure
think
seemed
so.
that way.
They seem to think so. So they had a good time with it on the circuit after the show aired last week.
Yeah.
And they were teasing about it. I hope that they had at least some happy moments after they were married before the war, and they were all giggle and stuff.
Yeah. The 2 seconds before the war.
Yeah. So they seem to think
Those
that
two are
they're-
so cute and evil at the same time.
Oh,
It's
boy.
ridiculous.
they seem to think that they're the cute evil power couple.
Yeah.
So I could
That's
see
our
her
job.
going, Chet Jr., I don't give a fuck. I've done my job. I bred with and created the next generation of management or whatever, but I don't have any particular affection because it's not a baby that I made with, you know,
Yeah.
my man who was
I think
enclave, you know.
If it was Hank's baby, I think she would show affection for it.
Yeah,
I
I think so.
anyway.
But that's just a
Hank
guess.
probably would have been more invested too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting that she's best friends with Lucy. You know, in retrospect, that those two pal around so much. That's got to be a little complicated for Steph. You know,
Are there any scenes with Hank and Steph at all?
Not that I remember.
No.
I mean,
Not
Because
specifically
he
just
was
the two of
taken
them.
in
not
the first
just
episode.
Hank and Steph.
Yeah,
You know, obviously
so
the
we-
wedding, everybody
She
was
was at the
there.
wedding, yeah, but-
you
Yeah,
know.
like he's at
True,
the
true,
wedding, and so is
Yeah.
she, but they don't really, you know.
But we don't have a
interact.
scene between the two of them.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Not really.
Maybe in season 3 we'll get a flashback. You know?
That's how
Mhm.
enclave operatives work.
It kind of
Probably.
blindsided me that they even announced like the wedding, but then as I was telling Bubbles, because Bubbles watched the episode with me, I was just like, what a way to celebrate that special night on the Vegas Strip by getting married to
perfect.
somebody you just met.
Yeah.
Parents
Very
told me.
apropos, without a doubt.
That reaction from Hank, he's like, my parents are gonna kill me. I was waiting for Steph to just go, don't worry, I'll kill them.
Right.
Well, it's funny because it seemed like a genuine, oh God, I haven't told my parents. They're going to freak
Yeah.
out. When he's actively working towards the end of the world, they're probably not going to survive anyway. Like, but he
Yeah.
still has this like,
Yeah,
oh my
listen,
God, I didn't
she's
tell
all-
mom and dad.
She's all bubbly and happy, and she just murdered 17 people to get there.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how far in the distance and like how past that was. Like how long she'd been in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This show plays with time so much.
It gave her the
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
resume, is
Yeah.
all that we know. It gave her the perfect resume for
Right.
the enclave.
Yeah.
Another
Sure.
example of how much it plays with time is Wilzig. If Wilzig came from Colorado to California to bring the head, in the first episode of season 1 of the show, Wilzig went on at minimum a 25-day walk across that
Desert.
1,700 miles of
Uh-huh.
mountains and desert and everything else. The show
Which
doesn't
explains
give you
why
any
the news
indication.
traveled.
Well, the show doesn't give you any indication of how long it took Wilzig to get from wherever that mountain
Right,
fortress
point
was
A to point B.
to
Okay.
near the beach where Lucy emerges from the vault. But it also shows you a Wilzig that seems to understand the wasteland pretty well. I think that the show is playing with time a lot here. It's like we don't have to tell you that it took 3 weeks or 3 months or 2 days on a vertebrate or whatever it was. We can just leave that to your imagination. And I think the games do the same thing a lot.
If they
Mhm.
told
Yeah.
you the makers of SpongeBob,
It may
might
not be
sue.
important enough for them to include
Well,
those kinds of details.
It's not,
For
but
all you know, you could have hopped a caravan.
it's not, but it's the kind of thing that certain types of brains that tend to get really into video games get super obsessed over, and they cry about it in the comments and in the Discords and in the Reddits. for
I
the
obsess,
show.
but I don't cry.
But no, they really are.
I'm looking right at GP on this one.
you know, and it's like they don't have to explain it, but it's
No.
definitely a journey.
I've heard him do this on stream. I'm looking right at GP.
In a world where a man grabs a fan and goes, I got to craft a weapon, sometimes explanations aren't really necessary. It's
Yeah.
Fallout magic.
Well, it's
Yeah.
TV magic too, right? Like TV shows
Radaway?
do that all the time.
So
Anything can
so
happen
the
on
Swing
enclave
me
base
Radaway.
is in Colorado. I hadn't actually put that together, but I'm thinking of
hadn't either.
the back, you know, big panning shots, and it is in some kind of snowy mountain range. I didn't know where they had parked it, but I suppose if Cooper's headed to Colorado and that is the Enclave base, it'll keep him connected to what's going on with the main storyline and all that. So I guess I can see that being the case.
I mean, maybe there's more going on in Colorado than we know. Because why would Barb say Colorado was a great place if she got stuck in an Enclave facility?
To leave a breadcrumb for her husband to follow.
Yeah, they talked about Colorado one time, and if she knew she was going there, that was her way of letting him know without anyone else knowing he knows. But
is there any Fallout lore to do with Colorado and the Enclave?
I really don't think so. I think they're fresh snow, scientifically speaking, as House says.
The only lore you really hear about Colorado is attached to either the Legion or the fact that Denver is overrun by dogs.
Or the fact that Van Buren was going to be set there, partially.
Yes.
And that the dome in Boulder was a huge Enclave scientific super experiment.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Oh, yeah.
I figured, there it is.
My theory is that we're going to experience previously unreleased Van Buren content.
Yeah, I did read about that.
I think
that'd be great, actually. That'd be great as a way to bring it into the canon, actually.
For sure.
And it's the right kind of fan service. Like the right kind of fans that have so far been like, oh, I don't like the way they did X, Y, or Z, are going to love that Van Buren is now canonized a little bit in whatever extent they decide to do it.
It also means the show's not just spinning way out on its own, like writing stuff that game writers wouldn't write.
For the people that were crying about that for 2 seasons, it's like now we're getting this. We're eventually getting NCR Legion conflicts, all of that. So this is more like the game than you actually thought. You should have just waited for it.
They had to build themselves up to that point.
Yeah.
You know, there are times where I complain about things on our channel, and as opposed to in another light, in a wrestling light, and I have people tell me, you got to let it play out. You got to let it play out. It's not over yet. And so I understand, but I usually take their advice, and most of the time when it plays out, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. I get it now. That's fine. That's kind of the scenario we're in.
Yeah. You got to remember, this is their canon playground to play in, not ours. Yeah. So we can kick our feet and slam our heels and pull our hair out and go, this isn't my canon. This isn't my Fallout, as if anyone in the entire history of the world has ever given a fuck.
Yeah. Speaking from someone who has their own individual canon, I'm going to say, these things can exist in the same, in the same space, and they can still be separate,
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, God,
for those of you who want that, go write it.
Yeah.
Go write your universe. You are free to do it. Please.
Regardless of all that, like more. God forbid the makers of this series actually want to just like play around a little bit and give you things that nobody's seen before they actually jump into things you've already seen decades ago in an old video game.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
If you just wait, it's going to happen. They want to give you something other than, hey, here's the video game played out on screen. Because when people have done series like that, you know what happened? They flopped. They sucked. And nobody watched it. Meanwhile, 70, how many billion fucking people have watched this series, and we're just now starting to dent the surface of the video game content.
Well, I think that was smart of them to do that, is to get the mass attention, because I know people that have never even played Fallout before are like, oh, have you seen this? That's what they want. They want the mass general to kind of follow along with the storyline, and then they're going to start trickling all the little details that us gamers like, and that's how they did it.
Even God bless him, my main man Ivan. If you watch Circle of Debate, I'm there because of him. He said to me, like, listening to you guys, like, we've never played Fallout. My wife and I are watching the series, and we fucking love it. Like, I love that vault they went into with the commies and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, was that in the video game? I was like, no, but it's cool, right? He's like, yes, it was freaking amazing. Well, they're going to put stuff from the game in it. I was like, oh yeah, it'll happen. Okay, cool. We're going to keep watching. Like, they went through season 1 and got into season 2 in like 3 days because they A, watched us, and then B, went and turned on the series.
Nice.
That's great.
For people like them, they don't know that this shit was in Fallout New Vegas. They don't know what Fallout New Vegas is. And they don't care because
a fun
the
show.
Am I intriguing?
Not only that, but like, if there's all the installments of the Fallout universe, they want to try and show you something new every time. And I think that brings a level of excitement. Like, it's not just this and this anymore. It's this, and then we've got this.
And then we've got all
these. Yeah. Now there's ripples on the pond. The butterfly effect is happening. And it just expands the universe.
Let's add a couple layers to the onion. That sort of thing. And it's cool because people that haven't watched it tune in, find it intriguing, keep watching it. People like us that watch it sit back and wait to see, like, are they gonna, how many Easter eggs are we gonna get? Are they gonna go this way? Are they gonna bring these guys in? When's this gonna happen? But we're not really. And then there's the other side with where's my game content, bro? Where's the canonical ending?
It's still available in your console.
It's like, calm down.
Yeah.
Because no offense, Bubbles, we might have gotten a hint to the canonical ending in this show. I know. I'm just
doesn't bother me.
We might have. Like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking say it because I can't hold it. I'm sorry, I'm pulling a GP on this one. When you see the scene where Cooper walks in and he's coming down and you see the house terminal, there is a Securitron body laying right next to it.
Yeah, they put that there on purpose.
That is almost the exact same setup. If you remember, from when you bring Yes Man in and you have taken care of Mr. House, he will hit a couple things on the console and fall over in that exact spot in that exact position, and then he will pop up on Mr. House's screen.
That's right.
And so
what does he tell
maybe, just maybe, they told you in this episode that Yes Man is the canonical ending. I'm just going to put that out there.
Or now, big brain time. Not that I have a big brain, but I read this on Twitter the other day. Big brain time. At one point during the backstory of this TV show, Yes Man was the option, run by Benny. Even the courier could have fucked off to Southern California for all we know. But Yes Man takes over. But what happens at the end of the Battle of Hoover Dam? He says, I'm going to go away for a while, and I'm going to look at these databases that I found on Mr. House's network, and it's given me a degree of self-determination. What if the databases he found is actually the digitized robotic self of House that he was planning on using in the first place? And that is why House is back now, because he overwrote Yes Man later after the game ended.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense too. Although I was worried when you said big brain and Twitter in the same sentence.
I know.
That was a bit of a toss.
All I'm saying is 15 years is a long fucking time. And no matter what happened in the game or in the TV show, lots has happened in the meantime, and I think it's entirely possible that could be Yes Man. That could also be the Securitron frame of Jane that just happens to have fallen in the same place, just to get people like us to go, oh shit, that's the Yes Man ending, and be wrong.
The theory I had that made the Yes Man possible was like you said, he says, I'm going to go away for a while.
Yep.
And so he fucks off, but now the NCR has been beaten up. The Legion has been beaten up. Vegas is free, but now it's unsupervised, and the Enclave knows it. So they come in, unleash some death claws, do little shenanigans. 15 years later, we see what we see, and House is able to, I guess, resume command after he gets his batteries back.
Yeah, well, Yes Man dips his dingus into the wrong terminal, and it gets covered up with House and overwritten again. And he's in charge of it. So we don't know. My point is, we don't know what's going to happen. So
you're saying that House ended Yes Man with a sexually transmitted virus.
Basically it, yeah. Which apparently is how he liked to get down if you talk to Raul. So He only likes the cyber stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I love Raul, but you're not wrong.
we don't know which way this is going to go, is my point. House may be House. House may be Yes Man, but Yes Man is disguising himself as House. House may have overwritten Yes Man. I think it's all in there somewhere, but we're never going to get all the answers because that's part of the fun.
Well,
they give us all the
I
answers.
agree.
It would satisfy a certain type of person. Hell, it would satisfy us in some ways, but it would not make for a good story necessarily. Like to give you a Bible and go, here are all the answers from season 1 and season 2.
We were kind of on it anyway. So I have this question at the end of the episode. Sorry to, jump to the end, but at the end of the episode, when Lucy and Maximus come walking into the penthouse of the Lucky 38, why is House gone? Why is the screen flickering? Why?
I have no idea.
Like
did
Cooper
grab cold fusion on his way out the door? I was wondering that myself.
Yeah.
No.
I think he was faking it.
I think he was faking it. He was playing possum.
He did flicker on the screen for a second. There is a moment where he flickers back up. So we know he's not.
He didn't want to just introduce himself to Maximus.
He wasn't ready to just talk to them. He doesn't know. He kind of
wanted to like get a feel for him before he made his presence known.
Okay, maybe
that's my guess. I don't know.
Okay. Because I honestly, when I saw him off screen and I saw him pop back in and out, I thought maybe Cooper like somehow managed to snatch cold fusion on his way out the door. And then I was just sitting there confused, like, wait, how did that? Because he would have had to have given it up to get to his family. So like, why? But yet that makes sense. He was kind of like, let me see what these two are all about before I actually let them know that I'm here and what's going to happen.
Okay. And a lot of people are
pre-war house. The pre-war house would have figured them out on the way up, whereas the post-war house doesn't have the same connections. He obviously doesn't have the same security patrols happening. So there's the layers between the layers that buffer him from other people are gone now. So I probably wouldn't have shown myself either. Anymore. Yeah. He doesn't know. They're a wild card to him. So why risk
But I could definitely see
that makes sense.
Him using them later. I mean, after all, he did the line, everyone works for me in the end, Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why not Lucy and Matt? Or here's another one. Why not Hank, the blank slate, finds the Pip Boy, straps it on. I mean,
I don't know. I think someone mentioned
I could be House's secretary.
Wait, I watched the episode like 2 or 3 times, and during one of them, someone said, "Oh, do you think Hank is faking it when he gets he presses the button?"
I don't think.
I don't know. Nobody else was able to fake it.
That was the
everybody else had to do it for real. Like they didn't get a choice. So
yeah, but.
It was his own dial though.
Very conveniently right before he explained to Lucy like what he was actually going to get all of the automated men to do out in the wasteland.
Yeah, like, he said they were because Lucy was
already. Like, before I hit this button, just tell me what it is you're up to. And right before he could say anything, well, he pushed
his own button.
Well, first and foremost, I think he'd rather blank his own memory and kind of guarantee that whatever his plan was would go through. But I also didn't quite understand how everything was still working if they had to keep the congresswoman's head with the tube and everything to keep the mainframe functioning. Then how is this now working that she's gone?
Yeah, I don't think they. I think that they've got her personality matrix already set up and it's been downloaded to the devices. So as long as you have the device, the controller, and the person, you've got the matrix. If you wanted a new one, you'd have to go back to that room, I guess.
Oh, I see.
Better yet.
So in order to make
what
more,
happens
it
if they
has to be there
start not
to
functioning properly?
Well, I got the impression that that when Hank explains to Lucy, I was just trying to add a little human touch to this product. I think that's all she wiped out.
He was trying to zhuzh it up a bit.
Yeah. That's all she wiped out. Notice that the Legion guy, the big Legion guy, when he comes back, robot.
Yeah,
like he's just super robotic the next time we see him. I think they all are now. I think the senator was the human aspect.
Sorry, I had to say
zhuzh it up. Hank is robotic though? I didn't get robotic off him. I got Babe in the Woods, no
Right.
memories,
This is
almost
true.
Alzheimer's.
But you know, Lucy did say something like, "You'll be the dad I thought you were again." Maybe she customized his program to just be amnesia, so that he'll just be a blank slate Hank or something. I don't know.
It's possible, but he pushed the button and turned the dial. So
yeah, because he had it, but he had his own remote.
Yeah.
And maybe hers was like turned down to, Lord Cleaver level, while his was complete mind wipe.
Yeah, I actually, that does make me wonder, because he was gonna wipe her mind, but she was gonna be his little Lucy again, not just some robot. So how would the, like, what was the senator doing then? Like, what even was her head doing, really, if that's possible still?
It was choreographing awesome dance scenes.
Well, yeah, there was that, but I mean, he tried to describe it, and he brought up I think it was the Myers-Briggs test, and
he did, yeah.
And as a former psych major myself, that test is so analytically biased that the readings
I was telling Bubbles that I was just like, that's not even like a real thing anymore.
Right.
It's been debunked. It's a real thing in corporate America for hiring purposes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a temperament sorter. It does have.
It's mostly been scrapped by anybody outside the corporate world, because it is so biased to the person reading the results.
Yeah.
In that one, but they've got new systems.
There's other systems.
Yeah. And
I know there's other systems, but he brought up that one.
It's biased to the person reading the results, like whatever they tell you are, it's great. Is that what you mean?
Kind of like astrology. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like when you're looking at the results, your own personality determines who has the best personality traits for what the project is, and that kind of makes the research invalid, so to speak. Because it's like, if I'm saying it's like somebody that was judging people on their actions, going, Hitler was a great guy. Like no, he wasn't, but you think so. So therefore, it just makes the test invalid.
You're saying it blows sunshine up people's asses? Is that kind of what you mean, Dom? Okay.
Yes.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
Yes, more or less. It's one of those old, the fold up, like, do you like guess the number between 1 and 4?
Oh yeah.
That's sort of thing. That's more accurate than Myers-Briggs.
I just wonder if Myers and Briggs, the original people that came up with the test, were actually Scientologists, because it seems to me to have the same level of.
It was a mother-daughter.
Yeah,
they came up with it.
Yeah, they've had to defend themselves from allegations. Were they truly psychologists, etc.
No,
there is some controversial history.
It just reminds me of
the just about to say that myself,
test that you used to get in Tustin from the Scientologists when they would try to get you to do auditing. That used to be a big thing in the 70s and 80s there in Southern California. They'd walk up to you on the street and want you to take a free personality test.
Right. But the Scientology test always told you all the things that were wrong with you.
Question one.
No, you're not wrong.
You needed their help.
Photon harmonizer inside your.
There, yeah, exactly.
So I want to talk a little bit about Hank, though. So I think personally, from a meta perspective, and I know I've been doing this the whole series, but fuck y'all, I love doing this stuff.
That's why we're here.
So from a meta perspective, the actor who plays Hank is too good to leave on the table. We're definitely going to have pre-war scenes with him, or flashback scenes with him, for sure. That's a way to keep using the character.
I don't think we're done with Hank.
But I don't think we're done with Hank as far as the story. And I think there's a couple ways you can go. One of them is to have him put on the Enclave, or not the Enclave, but Mr. House's, Pit Boy, and talk to House directly and be House's new hands in the real world. That's one way that I could see it happening. The other way I could see it happening is him following Lucy and Maximus as a mind-wiped, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, never saw the outside world before, doesn't know he had a relationship with Lucy character. and potentially be reversed later on. And then the final way that I see it working is it's possible that he faked this whole thing and he's still really all in there, but this was his way of avoiding responsibility, and he could tag along with him and pretend to be mind wiped, but he's not really. What do you guys think? Any of those resonate with you at all?
They're good. I was just about to add another one, but go ahead, GP. I think we're on the same.
Well, I'm just thinking there's another way they could resolve the Hank thing. It's possible that he and Stephanie will be reunited somehow, and that she will be the one who restores it.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So there might be a fifth one then, which is
one of the options I was thinking.
It's close to House with the Pip-Boy being Hank's intern, but I think House is going to basically I think House is going to examine Hank and try to not only determine, why the chip does what it does, but how to reverse it.
Oh,
okay. Maybe.
I suppose House could maybe just download himself into the chip and use Hank as a body double. I suppose.
House created this in the first place for cold fusion.
Right.
Yeah.
If he created it, he could possibly reverse it.
I like the idea that House can ride along on a mind-wiped person by having them wear the Pip-Boy and act as his liaison in the world. But I really like the idea that person or that Pip-Boy eventually ends up in the Commonwealth, and House goes, "Oh, cats aren't extinct. Interesting."
Are you Robert House? No, I am a meat popsicle.
I'm a meat popsicle wearing a Pip-Boy with Robert House.
Yeah.
He's Robert House. I am a meat popsicle.
There's a part of me that doesn't fully believe that he's controlled yet.
I don't think he is.
I don't know.
I think if he's going to create this, like, he's smart enough to craft such an intricately woven plot that he's got a back door, and we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I
think he's way too
whether
smart.
it's Stephanie or some other
the ghoul shot him in the
device.
back door.
Yeah.
He gave him a new back door.
Yeah.
I know. I think him pushing the button on himself rather than letting her do it, and she had it in her hand ready to go, is enough of an indication to me that something is amiss in Dogtown. It's not what it appears to be, because if it was her pushing the button on her remote control, then sure, he's mind wiped. But if it's him pushing the button on his own remote control after spinning the dial, who knows what he just did? He's in control.
It's honestly, it's understandable and it's
he could have
plausible.
put out a bat signal for all we know.
Yeah, true. But I mean, it's understandable and it's plausible when it comes to Hank, because this man has been a double agent all his fucking life.
Yep, he's pretty
all the way back from pre-war in Vault Tech and everything else. He has been a double agent. He has lived two lives for a couple of centuries. So why wouldn't he fake this? Just like he maybe not faked everything else, but the way it was always show somebody one thing, be something else on the side. That fits.
Yeah. I just don't think that we've seen the last of Hank McClane, just on the strength of how wonderful his actor is. And
Kyle MacLachlan.
Because
Kyle MacLachlan has done a great job.
He's done the doe-eyed person before. If you've seen him in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
He's played the I really got to try these donuts, we've seen this version of Kyle
I want to
MacLachlan
see that version of Hank standing in the Enclave main base talking to John Henry Eden and going, "Damn,
exactly.
Him in Twin Peaks is very different from him in Showgirls. Not that I've seen it. I've just heard. They're two totally. It's kind of like two sides of Hank, though, when you really put the two characters together.
I really think that we're going to see. I really want to see Hank and Steph interact. I keep going back to the fact that we never got to see them.
They need to close that circle for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
In my opinion,
So I think
the
Hank
episode ends with her declaring herself his wife and stuff, openly to the, so I feel like that's
to the Enclave.
And so I have a question in regards to that. Actually, why weren't Hank and Steph thought out at the same time? If they were husband and wife Enclave,
the nature of the program, they were staggered. Well, that's one of the reasons why.
Don't you think that Hank and Steph, as part of the Enclave, could be like actually, or at least like not.
Well,
maybe
unless Steph is a fail-safe program of some kind.
That's the
right.
That's
she
the
does seem
thing.
like a
She's
backup.
got her own role to play in it,
That's the thing, Raven. They're part of the Enclave, but Vault-Tec doesn't seem to know that.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have to play Vault-Tec.
They have to go along with Vault-Tec's rule. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what
And I do think Steph is a contingency plan. When she gets his thing and says, start phase 2, this is Hank's wife. Clearly, that is authorization. They set up this is Hank's wife as another authorized user.
Sure.
And it works. So
when Betty said we were terrified of you to Steph in the last episode, it's possible that Bud was also terrified of her too, and just pushed her wakefulness out as far as possible.
That's true.
Because he found her to be disturbing. I mean, who knows? So.
Yeah. He probably figured she would do to him what Norm did.
Probably. And she didn't. She compliantly got up and walked straight to the vault like she was told to do.
Right.
Until all this. So I'd like to see him reunite, Hank and Stephanie. I think that would be great. Reunited and
I was thinking it. I was
thinking she gets out of Vault 32. I think
catch her, Hank, baby.
I would love it if Hank was the only American that she saw as a human being. And she verbalizes that you've always been the only real American to me.
But speaking of Norm, he by the seat of his pants got out of that somehow.
Hey, I called it. I knew the roach farm was going to be the Chekhov's gun there.
That elevator was loaded with foreshadowing.
Yeah,
for sure.
It definitely was.
But
he's
that
got
was
a thin luck for sure.
Yeah, that was a crazy scene. And I'll never run
dark.
into rad roaches again.
That was
and not think of that. Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, it just goes to show you how much more special you are as a player character in a Fallout game than any of those idiots that got woken up from Bud's plan.
Right.
Because they get munched on by a swarm of rad roaches.
Yeah.
And any of us here today in the Council of the Waste would have been like, pop, pop, pop,
pop, taking them out.
Right,
the end of that.
Even coming out of the vault with a friggin' security baton. We're like, bring it, roaches.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they had VATS. What was their problem?
They were terrifying.
Right.
Those roaches were terrifying.
Yeah.
They had a perception of 2.
And I liked the karma of Ronnie spending so long at the door making sure Norm couldn't get in, that the roaches did get in. And then that was the death trap to be,
and they kill everybody but that sweetheart that Norm has a crush on.
If he had let Norm in, guess what? The door would have closed, the roaches wouldn't have gotten in, everyone would have stayed alive. But no, because he just had to keep Norm out, boom.
And we just saw right before that, Norm stopped to rescue one of them.
Yeah.
And that person got in through the door right ahead of him.
And then they wouldn't let him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, karma's a bitch, man.
I was just about to say, that's karmic payback.
Yeah.
Because I'd have yanked Ronnie off the door if I was that guy and been like, fuck that, let him in. He just saved my life. No,
but at least they let his main squeeze live, so we're not going to have the Titanic ending. Thank God.
Her. Well, that's that luck of 10. So when you have a luck of 10, it's so good that people around you actually experience better outcomes.
If you have the luck of 10, Rose will slide over on that fucking door and let you on too.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love the look on Norm's face coming out of there as he's got the table strapped to him and she's laying on it and he's just pumping down the street that was great.
He's grown up so much.
I know.
He really
Our
has.
little baby's all grown up and rules the wasteland.
Some say Norm grew 3 testicle hairs that day.
Yeah. Well, he said, I'm too chicken to leave the vault before. Well, we know it's not true now.
Bullshit,
That look on his face was like, I ain't chicken now. That was
he's a whole new man.
He's a whole new man. He's dragging a woman back with him to the vault.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not a cousin.
He's laid out on that. Not a cousin. No, not a cousin. Please stop with the cousins now. But
he's the
not
new king of the
cousin,
vault. As far as I'm concerned, it's canon until we see season 3. When he gets back to the vault, he's taken over.
And she's laid out on that table looking at him like, my hero.
Well, I think he's just going to get back to the vault in time to try to save it from whatever phase 2 is. He's going to be the one blowing the whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to tell everybody something's up, and we'll just see if it works.
I was just joking, but I agree completely. Yes.
But I don't know if you guys caught this either, but the look on Chet's face when they're banging on Stephanie's door. At first, he's all excited because he finally feels like he did something. But then when they start chanting "death to management," he remembers back from season 1 when him and Norm came into
that was scrawled on the walls, and
it was all destroyed skeletons, and then across the wall, written big, it practically in blood, if I remember, was death to management. And immediately he goes from to shit.
Because it's literally the same vault that happened in before. It's the same one.
I forgot.
That's the thing. It was at that moment Chet knew he fucked up.
Something in the wallpaper there.
Dear.
Something.
So whatever effect the older population is now affecting them.
Yes.
It's just there's a cycle going on in Vault 32. Clearly that cycle is repeating.
Yeah.
And then one day everything changed.
Wait, is that the same? Oh no. So phase 2 is happening in 32 and 33, right?
No, just
as far as I know, just 32.
Actually, no, it would be both probably. I bet it is.
Why wouldn't it be the entire surface? Since once again, she said start phase 2, and the computer terminal at the Enclave headquarters, wherever that's at, seemed to respond, seemed to activate itself. Why would it just be for one handful of vaults? Wouldn't phase 2 be more about something beyond any one vault experiment?
I could have swore when they authorized it and everything, there was a little line that said Vault 32 going to phase 2.
I think so.
And what we saw in season 1 was a byproduct of, I'm guessing at least, phase 2.
Sure, but Hank did say the vaults were never the experiment for the Enclave. The surface is the experiment.
The surface is the experiment.
But the experiment he was talking about at the time was to do with chips and the people that had orders and all the stuff that he spouted off about, basically before he blanked his own mind.
If he did.
That's why I quoted blanked his own mind.
I do kind of want to point out something that's a very tiny detail that sometimes gets missed, is that the Enclave has not always been 150% unified behind everything. You see that in 76 and you see it in 4 and so there's probably even layered plans within the Enclave where different factions of people are trying to figure out what's going on and trying to enforce whatever that they want to do over each other as well.
Even go back to Fallout 3.
It's a small detail it does paint a much larger picture. That this potentially can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Even go back to Fallout 3 and you had kind of that conflict between Colonel Autumn and President Eden. The AI.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In both games where they are the canon antagonists, though, they were both using some form of weaponized FEV to do something massive on the surface of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
One through the water supply in the capital, and the other through some aerosolized release version that would spread over the whole world along the jet stream. So that has been kind of their modus operandi, even if there was conflicting motivations and forces.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe phase 2 is some kind of vault-based test of some ultimate, some eventual protocol.
It could be.
My theory is that they're trying to build the perfect humanoid that will survive the wasteland and rebuild at the exact same time without no ill effects. That's my theory.
There's a lot of theories, but one fact is that I hijacked this from Raven. So please take the show back. Sorry.
Oh no. I'm like I said, I didn't have as much time to really prepare, so I'm just going off handwritten notes that I just rewatched the episode right before this too. Very quickly, but yeah, I was just gonna bring up the awesome Deathclaw fight between Maximus and then he got his butt saved by a couple of different saviors. I was very impressed by all of that. Like I was giggling like a schoolgirl throughout all of that.
That was epic, yeah.
I was kind of disgusted.
Are you kidding? I was jumping up and down by the end of those scenes.
I wanted
the cigarette.
I wanted the people to pour out of the buildings and just start plugging the death claws with whatever they had. I wanted to see that. But the humans were the populace of Freeport or Freeside were just kind of like hiding and making bets, just going back to like the sort of disconnected people that they were. I was a little.
I was fanboying out.
It is, but I saw potential for that to be something else. I wanted to see a whole Coming to America moment where all of the Wastelanders come out with all their weapons because they have them. They definitely have them. They just didn't have the will to use them.
Well, they didn't have any sense. They
waited for the NCR, or when the NCR finally showed up, they could go back to being mousy, and they were like, we're sycophants to the.
I didn't read it that way. I read it as they were all. A lot of them were survivors of the original vault in Vegas, which had to resolve all of its differences through betting. And House bought them out and convinced them to leave their vault so he could turn it into a hotel and backfill it with concrete to cut off any whatever it was that he was doing.
And I
read them as some of the people who were at least setting up the betting, like the woman who said, "I ain't doing that." I read them as survivors of that vault. And so their entire worldview is shaped on, we have to bet on everything. Everything is a game of chance that we have to try to make money off of.
And
I didn't catch that. I just figured that was a symptom of just being in Vegas, you know.
And a lot of them were probably survivors of what happened on the Strip. Yep. So A, they were probably gambling every day, and B, if they ran from the death claws and put up a wall, they're not going to come out and fight now. But I could not help but fanboy out while Maximus is standing there in what is essentially NCR War Machine power armor with tank buster rounds firing out the back and repulsors and all this shit. And then when he's finally down, you get Thaddeus just clapping a death claw.
Love that moment
between his freaking toes, which was great.
That was really great.
When he's finally at the point where, like, that whole thing where they go through him as a child with his father, and then him with the Brotherhood soldier, and just coming out of the beaten up suit and grabbing whatever he could and standing his ground, only to get saved by what is essentially the Fallout New Vegas intro and an NCR Ranger.
That was fantastic.
Oh my God. I wish they would have had
the music.
I did appreciate that.
That's what I was about to say. All it needed was Blue Moon, and it would have been perfect.
They're like, no, we're not giving a Frank Sinatra.
I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I can't. Money. I'm looking at her. Go, don't look at me. Don't touch me. I can't right now.
That was pretty cool for sure.
And then the NCR marches.
It was a very nice homage.
It was.
It was great. It was great.
It still begs the question, like, where have they been this whole time? Like, why?
It's true.
Why did that one remnant of the NCR, that one sergeant or whatever her name was that Lucy had encountered before, why is she at the head of an army of NCR people? Like,
well, you remember
that episode to tell them
that
to go to
episode
Vegas.
where Lucy got hooked on Buff Out? She was, and even the episode before that, I believe the sergeant was telling Cooper that there was supposedly another battalion and they were cut off.
Yeah.
But, I guess when they packed up to leave, at least she made it back to that particular battalion and kind of updated what was going on.
I get all that, except
and they then turned to march for the Strip to try and intervene before it was too late, and they literally make it just in time.
I know, but it's been decades that one group was alone. They said that when the Roger guy, didn't remember how long it had been, and Why in decades did an army of NCR not like ever go to New Vegas to reclaim it or check on it or like what is happening? Why?
It's not uncommon when it comes to that area, especially. Think about it. The Brotherhood were hanging out in a bunker for how many years after?
Yeah, that's the Brotherhood though. They're not watching out for anybody,
and they wouldn't come out other than to scrounge things and whatever. If the NCR got nuked, they're probably going to scatter to the wind and just try to maintain what they have until they feel like the time is right. And I guess when that sergeant reported in and explained, like, this is what's going on over here, that's when they decided to mobilize and finally move out. But up until that point, they were more worried about protecting themselves and just carving out a niche and,
where, like,
maybe wherever she said they were supposedly somewhere off to I can't remember at this point. So but I remember her explaining it to Cooper.
Hypothetically, on a ridge overlooking the Legion forces, arguing over a piece of paper that's supposedly on the body of their Kaiser. And once they mobilized and started moving, the other ones started mobilizing and moving too.
There is that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where I was headed with that one. Yeah.
I was actually gonna bring that up next. So thank you, Bubs.
Yeah, hypothetically, I don't know.
Sure.
What it really comes down to is this Fallout piece. So NPCs don't move from their spawn point until a player character comes into the screen. And that's all there is to it.
I get that the main storyline progressed far enough to cue their arrival. I get that. Right. I do get that.
It's like the Brotherhood doesn't come to the Commonwealth until you 86 Kellogg, and all of a sudden, boom! There's the
show up every time. Never sooner.
You can't miss a cue. You can't do it. That was the cue.
Yeah, that's fair. It is like a video game experience to have them show
Thaddeus
up like that.
with no power armor left and a roulette wheel in his hand. It's the cue for the NCR to march in.
Yeah.
Solidifying that he's my favorite character this season.
And hot dog, it was beautiful.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. He's complicated. I like him a lot. I'm really glad he's in the series.
I love them all, by the way. I mean, I love the big players. I think the woman that plays Barb Howard is amazing. The emotion she showed on her face in the scenes that she was in this season were all over the place, from dawning horror to fighting for her marriage. Even though from my perspective, when I first watched that confrontation in the hotel room, were you always a monster? Excuse me, fighting for her marriage. From her point of view, she was fighting to win. She was trying to, and that's, I think, why she joined her.
And kudos to her for making most of us take the hook and believe she was one of these evil people most of the series until the last couple of episodes.
Well, some of you believe that. Sure.
I said most of us. Calm down, GP.
I just feel like even the bit players.
Jesus, I can't give them enough flowers. I'm out.
I'm using that old Hollywood term for dramatic effect, really. But even the character actors and whatnot who do the small parts in this series just knocked it out of the fucking park. I mean, I love Stephanie's character from the moment she got an
Annabella Hagen. Yeah.
And when I saw that interview with her, and she was talking about how she wrote, poetry for what her 8th grade self would have been like long before the annexation of Canada. I was just like, oh my God, she's amazing. I love this character.
No, she's awesome.
Method.
They chose the right people for a lot of these roles.
Speaking of bets, was I the only one that laughed my ass off when Thaddeus said, "Give me 500 on Maximus"? And they were all saying, "You ain't got that money," and he just drops. He just
so happens
he just jiggles his pant leg, and all these caps fall out. And he goes, "I used to make money for a living."
I used to make money for a living.
That's great. Thaddeus lights up the screen in every scene that he's in.
That dude is another one of those little characters that's just so good.
Yeah,
take any line and make me laugh. Any line,
even when the Death Claws are coming into Freeside, and then they just cut to Thaddeus for a second, but he's busy waving everybody into the place with his
arm that fell out. Go!
Every scene is a little bit like that with him, and it's amazing. It's so endearing and.
John Daly
is holding his arm, waving them into the building. Go,
exactly.
That's
what do we always say? Most kids are dead by now.
There is a level of charisma happening that just it's
he's so good. They have so many like bit parts. You're right. They have so many like bit parts that these actors absolutely dominate.
Yeah.
You know, Chet's acting really good. You know, like, he is just absolutely selling it. He is selling that guy. Like,
he sells it while looking like what you would expect from a vault dweller. Like, just the look, the hair, the everything. He is like the typical vault dweller to a T. And I absolutely adore that. Like, I love the way the cast has taken to the roles and brought so much life into even just these smaller roles, that it makes it even more compelling to watch, because you can't take your eyes off of somebody just because they're not on camera that much or they don't mean much to the story, because they're going to be a factor regardless of what role they play. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see Leslie Uggams pull her trump card out at some point in time, because like when you look at her, I mean, I still remember her from Deadpool. So
Blind Al.
She's still kind of like
cocaine.
She doesn't do a whole lot of physical action. She seems kind of just weak, but like when she finally comes out of this shell of just like, I'm just an old lady, like just trying to control my life, you know, I think that's going to be pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
And let's not. Speaking of other characters, Hot Dog, like Kumail Nanjiani with a temporary role came in and just brought all the pizzazz.
Yeah,
you know?
so even Maximus is saying that when he realizes he's got those War Machine artillery rounds on the back of him. He's like, Hot Dog. It's so cool.
So something I want to talk about before we close, because we've covered a lot, is it's interesting to me that the series began with a dismembered head and it ended with a dismembered head, both of them at the center of the Enclave's plans. You know, like there's sort of this bookended continuity of sorts where when Lucy says to the senator, whose name
why is
everybody always asking me to kill them? You know, like it's because this is the second time there's been a dismembered head on the line, and it's her job to do the right thing. You know, it's
what does Lucy always get? Head. I don't know why.
Congresswoman Diane Welch.
Thank you. Yes, I forgot her name.
Diane Welch.
And you know what?
I'm looking.
The other thing I liked was
right now.
The final episode put it to bed. Welch was not a willing participant.
Nope.
Yeah, that's one thing that the viewing public missed, because we had a big segment in episode 7 where we kind of I don't know how else to describe this. So I'll just say where we debated as to the intentions of Congressman Welch, and whether she was, kind of a double agent like Hank or Stephanie, or if she was genuinely good and was duped into this by, the president, aka the Enclave, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And obviously by the end of this episode, you realize like her intentions were good. She was probably just very excited to have the president's attention and, that sort of thing. And being able to get, basically a VIP stay at a cryo vault for Vault Tech.
Yeah.
And it ends up with her
it's the Enclave
being beheaded and creating all this. So that feels more like the Enclave kind of manipulating her, like they did with some of the other characters and players in the series, than her actually being more of a double agent.
Yeah, and Ramus was saying that the Enclave was going to keep her around because she was useful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ramus he called it. Like the Enclave just thought, great, we'll stash her away. Why not? We have a whole vault. But,
she was impressionable. It's easy to charm the pants off of somebody if they're impressionable.
Yeah. But that was something that, unfortunately didn't come out due to episode 7 being lost by Streamlabs.
That was an important conversation, though. I think
it was a good conversation. Yeah.
But by the way, just on a small sidebar, sorry folks, but Streamlabs, if you ever happen to catch this, do me a favor.
Go fuck yourself.
So I was just thinking about how, like, talking about paying homage to the games and to the players, and there were 3 instances in this episode that it was like a still from the game was recreated in the show. So like the scene with in Mr. House's office there with the Securiton lying on its side, and then with the NCR Ranger firing off the shot, the opener from New Vegas, and then in the extra bonus scene after the credits, just very, very quickly, as Dane is walking through all of the Brotherhood soldiers who are there, there's one scene where you see a Brotherhood in power armor, a soldier in power armor getting it repaired, and it mirrors one of the images shown in the introduction to Fallout 4.
Fallout 4, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like that like hit me pretty hard too. I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
was for you, Raven. That was for you.
That was just for you.
But that whole scene was also crazy. Going back to Quintus, like what the fuck?
I know.
Blueprint.
I know.
You see how fast he turns on his own faith.
I said the same thing, Raven. I was like, why is Dane even there? I thought he was going to take the kids and leave. Like, what the hell is going on?
No,
and
Dane said they stick around.
The battle was still kind of ongoing, so maybe he felt like it wasn't safe to get them out of there yet. And then Quintus asked him for something, and he didn't know what else to do, so he just played along. I don't know, but I had no idea why he was still there.
Well, Dane was just supposed to get the younger people out of the way for the fight. Save them from
I
the
thought he was
fight.
supposed to take them and leave.
Nah, just go stash them somewhere when all this stuff goes down. When the shooting starts.
I got you. Okay.
But wow, the Brotherhood has like no imagination. Am I right? I mean, they got like one go-to every time they've got a problem to solve. What do? Liberty Prime.
Liberty Prime Alpha. This is an early prototype now.
Yeah, I saw the Alpha.
This is not the one we know from 3 and 4. This is like the first.
Isn't it kind of ironic that the whole idea of the Brotherhood is we're going to collect technology to keep it out of the hands out of the bad people?
Yeah.
Right.
Who are the bad people?
Yeah.
So what were you going to say?
I think that it's like Chekhov's gun, man. Once you put Liberty Prime on the table, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to have Liberty Prime do something in the show. And I think that every red-blooded human being on the planet wants to see giant robots duke it out. So we're going to have Liberty Prime and Liberty Prime Alpha on Amazon Prime in prime time.
Titan against Titan.
You know what we're gonna have? If you've ever seen the show Robot Wars, we're gonna have that in the Fallout series.
That's
because
cool.
clearly they were worried about going to war with Maxon, and clearly Maxon, as far as we know, has Liberty Prime. So if Maxon shows up with his, and then Quintus the Destroyer now shows up with his, we're just gonna build a cage around these two and let them rock them, sock them until one of them falls. It's gonna be great.
Robots.
That would be really cool to see that. Actually,
we don't know that the Brotherhood's going to unleash Liberty Primes at each other, though. We don't know that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, I see a big conflict coming with the Enclave. Who knows how it'll come into play there? Or will the Brotherhood have to fight the Legion and or the NCR with it? Like, because right now they're on different coasts. You've seen Liberty Prime. Is it easy to get him from like Boston to California? I doubt it. No, they
had to carry him in pieces. and then reassemble him.
Yeah, they could just break him down and put him on the Prigwin and fly him out there, then put him back together, and bing, boom, bam.
Just hoist him up and have him laying across the
Bingo, bango, bongo. You don't have to leave the Congo. You got Liberty Prime.
I'm waiting for the season when we finally get to see what's happening in the Commonwealth, because I have a feeling that a whole bunch of people who swear they never played Fallout 4 because it's so bad compared to other Fallout games are suddenly going to have a lot to say about why certain things are the way they are.
Yeah.
The Institute still exists in some form. You don't have the sense as a potential faction for story in a 7-season TV show and take it to the table because one of the canon endings is the only way they could survive, and that would mean Maximus didn't, or Maxon, excuse me, didn't survive. I just feel like we're going to be eating good when we get to see the Commonwealth finally, because it's not going to be anything we expect.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why Powden Harkness was like, we're not doing so hot, but hot dog.
Well, hot dog, I just want to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've talked about everything. Is there anything? It's a kind of a shorter episode, but it's because we got a little bit of a later start. So, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
I'm pretty good. This was a ton of fun, and I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Is
So
the
what?
next season out yet?
Yeah,
I wish it was.
And wait a couple years.
You know what, Raven? I do this all the time on our channel, and I've kind of always wanted to do with you guys, and I couldn't, but I can now. So, considering the situation, I think it's about that time, really.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Liberty Prime robot.
Yeah, really.
Prime Autobot.
Well, I think it's safe to say. I was just going to ask, so what did you guys think of the whole series? Did you like season 2? I think it's pretty safe to say that we all loved season 2.
I think as a company
really
material, they mesh really well.
Mm-hmm.
I wish season 3 was coming out tomorrow. I really do.
Sure.
I am so amped to see what happens.
I like
next.
that it's got it set up for the faction war between the third round, I guess, of NCR versus Legion in Vegas, and Mr. House still maybe in the picture, and Lucy and Max are there. And then also the Ghoul, I wish they were all together, but it's kind of cool that the Ghoul is headed towards whether he ever gets there, we don't know, Colorado. So I like how they're not just dragging in a haphazard or kind of really forced way the whole cast to Colorado, that organically, at least for now, at least for the first few episodes, stories. There's going to still be some Vegas action.
And not only that, now with Mr. House being back and apparently having cold fusion, that kind of gives him all the opportunity in the world to fire his factory back up and make Securitrons.
Right. We know he's got a warehouse just full of Securitrons ready to go.
Right.
He does.
Yeah.
And so the NCR could have some serious backup against the Legion in the near future, but we won't know till we know,
Yeah.
What are your predictions for the Legion as they encroach upon New Vegas?
I believe there will be no Caesar's Palace in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think that Macaulay Culkin is going to deliver some amazing comic relief.
Sure.
And that the Legion are going to continue to look like they've always looked, honestly, which is, pretender, poser, LARPing cosplayers who no longer have a really good, strong leader, and who are about to run up against what I hope is the third and final round of NCR ass kicking. So
I don't know if this is a stretch of a prediction, but I think Maximus's next epic encounter is going to be with the Legate. That's going to be like the final showdown.
That would be cool. Can you imagine Maximus against Macaulay Culkin? Especially if Macaulay's given time to prepare and a big enough house to set some booby traps up in.
Right. Right.
Really good.
He knows Maximus is coming. I don't know. I can't bet on Maximus.
Can he find traps big enough to do any damage to that NCR War Machine power armor that Maximus was sporting? Because they'll probably fix that up too.
Well, yeah, maybe. But for now, that's smoke. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, no, we
know
will
Maximus
see.
can take a beating, so he might
think
survive
the
the
NCR
and the
is
paint
not
cans.
going to stick around.
You don't think so?
No.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, isn't part of the reason why the NCR kind of sucks as an entity is because they're pulled in so many directions, and their bureaucracy is what
I mean
keeps them from becoming truly great.
That may have been at one point, but at this point, with what we've seen in the series, like there's not much of the NCR left. I mean, we've seen the rest of California, but we've only seen small, one small camp and then one battalion of NCR in the entire season. And if they,
for all we know, they're
have any
huge
place
in
to
San
go,
Francisco still.
They could be, but they might. But these people might be cut off from San Francisco in the first place, so they might be looking for a place to reset and reestablish themselves. And if they basically save the town of Freeside, those people are going to be willing to, join up, sign up, let them do whatever the hell they want, and they don't need anybody else.
Well,
until they figure out that the
taxes,
NCR doesn't care about them.
Then we'll get all that again. I don't think Maximus and Lucy are joining the NCR, you guys. I don't believe that at all. I think the show went to great pains at the end there to show that both Max and Lucy have transcended their connections to their factions. Lucy with their
I don't.
Yeah, and no more.
I don't see that happening either. I just see it as like a temporary alliance against a common enemy in the Legion.
I don't know that Max and Lucy will be a part of that fight, though. I like to see the fight happening between the NCR and the Legion. I just don't think that Lucy and Max necessarily have to play a major role in that fight.
Max seemed pretty into all the NCR nostalgia, though. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of one horrible faction with bad jackets into one other horrible faction with bad jackets.
Not they don't.
They're equivalent. Obviously, the NCR is better in every way to slave dealers, and
right. Which is why Lucy ended up turning on Hank, as he was trying to, equate the two of them, and that just doesn't. Yeah,
I just don't see Max being a big joiner at the beginning of season 3, but I could be wrong.
What do you think will happen? Like, if they don't join the NCR, they're not going to go back to a vault.
No, I think that what I had to guess, and I'm going to stick to my guns on Max doesn't join up with the NCR. They may do some stuff with the NCR, but I don't think they're going to be willing to accept a commission, wear a uniform, that type of thing.
I think it best as a temporary alliance.
If I had
who's
to guess,
commanding the NCR, and what is Maximus' relationship going to be with that person?
Looks like, but if I had to guess,
Sergeant,
if I had to guess what was going to happen with Maximus and Lucy, they're going to end up working for House at the beginning of season 3. In some way.
I mean, they did walk into into his little.
I mean, they will. I think they will certainly facilitate a bit of a truce between the NCR and House.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think House is going to be on the radar.
Maybe an armistice of some kind.
In order to find a way to defend, what they have from the incoming Legion attack, and then from there, who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't see them just they joined the NCR, the series is over. But I do see them maybe temporarily aligning themselves with these two parties and trying to get them to come together, knowing what Lucy knows. And once she tells Maximus, obviously that's going to be one of the first things they focus on is like, we have to stop this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's possible House will just tell Lucy about that some stuff's going down in her vault because he might know. Yeah. And maybe she and Maximus will run on back to 33 to join Norm, and
or it could be one of these things where they end up divided again because maybe Norm shows up at the strip, tells Lucy about phase 2, and Maximus is concerned with
Norm doesn't know
the town that he just saved in part. So she and Norm go back to the vault, and he stays to try to defend the town from the Legion, and then eventually they meet back up again, kind of like season 2.
Yeah, it's possible.
Right.
Yeah, that would make for a good season of TV for sure.
Yeah,
I think
Speedway is going to be amazing. Everything that I've seen from this show, I can easily predict that season 3 is probably going to be freaking amazing, and I can't wait.
Yeah,
Me
for
too.
sure.
Yeah, as they start walking us east, there's all kinds of stuff they can do. It'll be fun.
Mhm.
That whole river.
Oh yeah, there's
Destiny.
there's so much that you can the well is so deep with Fallout lore that you could just you could never run out if you wanted to. You could just keep going back. So it's going to be fun moving forward to see what happens.
Keep your eye on Casting Call and the trade, papers for Hollywood. I have a funny feeling we're going to see at least one scene that shows us Maxon and the East Coast Brotherhood in season 3. So
yeah.
I also have a funny feeling that we're going to be back to cover any updates or, even if there's some sort of Bethesda Games wrinkle that we want to come and talk about, we may just come back and talk about it with you. Because shit, we don't have much better to do we?
Nope.
Well, we'll be doing it anyway.
Really.
Yeah, why not? Right? Why not? But
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now if that's everything, can I hit it again?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Now it's that time.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
I could hit that clip all night because it reminds me of my childhood.
So this is kind of sad because it feels like the end, but like Dom has been saying, we will be back to talk about something, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, for sitting down and talking to me about season 2, episode 8, the strip of Fallout. Boo-hoo. Every time I say episode 8, I'm
It's so, but we made it, guys. We made it.
No, we did. We did. Minus one episode, but maybe one day episode 7 will appear from the ether.
Probably not, but we apologize.
Council of the Waste, the lost episode.
But
June.
We will post
June
it
19th.
as soon as it is unlost. Yeah, exactly.
We will be back for updates. Maybe
we'll put Moldy and Scully.
Just maybe, since most of us are already doing it, maybe we'll even do some council streams in Appalachia and just hang out with you guys.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
But in order to find out what our next steps are, you're going to have to subscribe if you haven't. So hit the links in the description, whether you're on YouTube or audio podcast platforms. Subscribe to all these lovely people, and if you want to, subscribe to us too. She's cute. She deserves that. I don't know about that. And make sure to, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, if you have any questions, any theories that you want us to discuss, to leave them in the comments of the video, because we will come back and we will definitely want to, if we get something good, we may want to do an entire episode on it. So
cool.
Please feel free. Otherwise, thank you all for your support. Thank these lovely people, wonderful people, for
thank you, John.
Hanging in there. Oh yeah, thank me for losing episodes and fucking up. No, you're welcome.
There's no guarantees. We're doing this guerrilla style, man.
Yeah. Don't use Streamlabs if you do this. Don't use it.
Was that Streamlabs or was that Stream Elements?
It was Streamlabs.
Okay. All right.
It was, and it sucked, and
it plays jerky with me too because I use it.
I'm gonna do it one more time because they deserve it. Streamlabs.
Go fuck yourself.
But anyway,
bullshit, Streamlabs.
You're bullshit. Anyway, thank you, everyone. We will be back to you as soon as we can with any updates, any new game features, anything that we feel is big enough to talk about. Maybe even some live streams. Please subscribe to these channels. Hope you enjoyed the season. Hope you're as excited for season 3 as we all are. And until the next time, stay safe out there, Wastelanders, and we will catch you soon. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. Where's my outro?
The button. Where's the button?
It's okay. It's okay.
Don't mind wipe yourself.
One quick click and we're out of here. Bye, guys. Bye. Have fun storming the castle.
But maybe tomorrow, shit made me feel better. Wherever we change up the weather tomorrow, I'm tired of sorrow.